Ryan and I got married in 2007. It took us about 5 months and then we fell pregnant. It's everything we ever wanted.
When Reef was 5 months old, Lydia took him for a routine pediatric checkup, and the doctor felt his stomach and said that his liver and spleen felt a little enlarged.
After the tests were completed, we were called into a little room and we were told that Reef was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Our life exploded in a matter of minutes. I never went back home. I literally went from that doctor's office to the hospital, and I was in hospital for a year with Reef.
It was an exceptionally aggressive form of leukemia. They put him on the strongest chemotherapy they could find, and the very next day Reef went into kidney failure, into renal failure, where they started emergency dialysis on him. After the 6 months of chemotherapy, he never reached remission. His only hope would be a bone marrow transplant.
Reef received his bone marrow 9 days before his first birthday. The days that followed, Reef was severely ill. He blew up with fluid, he turned bright red. It was the first time in Reef's life that he ever stopped smiling.
6 months after Reef's bone marrow transplant, he developed something called graft versus host disease, or GVHD. A life-threatening condition where the new bone marrow fights against the body.
It affected his skin, his eyes, his gut, his kidneys, his liver. And no matter what we tried to do in South Africa, we couldn't seem to get his GVHD under control. We decided to turn to the United States for help.
And Children's Hospital LA told us to bring Reef. When we arrived in the United States, he could not walk, talk. He could not open his hands. He was tube-fed.
After 6 weeks, he stood up for the first time. The doctors have been able to keep his GVHD under control. He is running, playing, he's started to talk, he's thriving.
As his father, I have been broken down completely, but also with the spirit of my little boy, rebuilt up every time. We originally came out to America on a visa with a medical clause on it allowing us to receive medical treatment for Reef. But unfortunately, in a couple of weeks, our visa will expire.
We gave up our family, our home, our lives, everything to be here.
We originally left the country because Reef couldn't receive the treatment that he needed and was dying. And we don't want this last 3 years that we have spent here to be for nothing and to take him home only to bury him.